All right, so I think it's working now. I don't know what the hell was going on. I was having so many audio issues there. Had to restart OBS for some reason. Okay, so welcome back to Arknights. I wanted to do a couple of things here. I was going to tell you about my pools. On this banner right here, I got Nightmare. Didn't need Nightmare, but whatever. And on the Jail Tiger Unchained banner, I got Blaze. Didn't need Blaze, but I got Blaze. I already had Blaze maxed out, so I got some tokens out of that. Certificates. But the main thing I was wanting to do, bring that up, is I'm going to be taking this video here, a list of 6 stars, 2 6 stars from each class and subclass that you would want for your account. This is kind of like a tier list, but it's my own personal say, hey, if you can get these characters, you'll be no problem. Now this is only going to be 6 stars. Depending on how this video does, I may come back and also do 5 stars and 4 stars and 3 stars, but you know, getting down into 3 stars is, you want every one of them because there's not many and they're all good for what they are. And 2 stars, you get all of them, and 1 stars, you would get all of them too. You might be missing 1 or 2 of the robots if you didn't do the login events, but you can eventually get them through recruitment here anyway. So I'm going to go through every class and subclass. I'm going to, you know, give a description, give what skill you would mainly make sure max out, if you would max out this character, if it was good to max out this character or not, you know, stuff like that. So let's talk about, we're going to start, I got a ship's toolbox over here, operator records over here to the left of me on my other screen, so I can go through, make sure I hit each subclass of each class, you know, and stuff like that. I'm going to try and give 2 for each subclass, but I might only be able to do like 1 of them, depending on how populated that subclass is, because some of them don't have many at all, if they even have a 6 star. So we're going to start with this caster, and we're going to start, and this is all going to be casters and their subclasses, and we're going to start with what is known as a core caster. This would be your Fiala and your CB, the only 2 6 stars of the core caster class, and we're starting off with a bang. Fiala is the best 6 star caster itself. You're not going to get much better than her, including all subclasses. She's just pretty much the best. You get her, max her out as good as you can. You don't have to potential her all the way up if you don't want to, but any potentials you do get on her are just going to make her even better. Her second potential improves her second talent, so that is the wildfire, which immediately obtains a large random number of skill points after deployment. That just makes her be able to throw out her S3 faster. Let's talk about her skills. Her skills are very, very good. There's 2 of them you want to max out if you can. You don't have to, but there's one you want more than anyone else, and then there's the second one. The one you want more than anything else is the volcano. This is your boss killer. This is your mini boss killers. If you have a lot of enemies in range also, this just mows them down. She basically does a volcano, goes up into the air and spews out a lot of enemies, and can hit up to 6 enemies at most within range, and it is a big damage. I'm talking huge. This is what you want on her. If you can afford it, also mastery 3 her second skill, or you could do up to where she gets her 3rd charge only if you want to save something. I think that's mastery. You go down here and check her skill and stuff. Yeah, it's mastery 1 on that, so at least mastery 1 it, so you can have 3 charges of it. But if you can mastery 3 it, so you can get even more damage out of it, that would be even weller itself, because that also gives you an extra 5% minus res for 6 seconds on the skill, with the skill, for 6 seconds with the skill. So that would also help out, you know, with your damage and everything. So there is that. She is the best, bar none, straight, you know, caster. She's, if you want a caster above any others, Epiala's it. She's also got a really cute skin here. She was one of the characters that everybody wanted a skin for, and it took a long time to get a skin for her. So right now the skin is not in the shop, but eventually it's probably going to come around again. And if you like a cute little goat girl in a bikini, well, here you go. Also, if you don't know about trust, if you can click their trust deal and it tells you what it gives them, it gives her plus 90 attack with 200% trust. So do raise your trust. All you have to do to raise your trust is 2 things. Put them in your deployment deal. You don't have to actually use the character. You just have to put them in your squad. Just have to put them in the squad. Don't have to deploy them. And if you have the base, go up here to the control center, go to base assistant, and set one of them to one of these 5 spots. I will say, I'm not totally sure why, but the one in the control center gets more trust than the other ones. I'm not totally sure why. I thought for the longest time the one they all gain at the same rate, but no. The one up here in the control center, this top deal, gets trust the fastest out of all of these. I'm not totally sure why they set it up like that, but that is the way it works. So whoever you want to gain trust with the fastest, set them up in there. Now let's go back to our characters. Now there is another core caster, and that is Theobe. Single target. This is a single target lady here. Now Epiala is technically single target, but with what she does, she attacks up to 6 enemies at most, and then she has this big pomp with that hits a lot of enemies. This hits more than one enemy. The next attack deals half damage to enemies around the target. There's no limit to that number of enemies it can hit. So yeah, she's kind of single target slash, she has such great damage, she's single target slash AoE. Theobe, on the other hand, is straight single target. She does a lot of single target damage, and her thing you want is her really hot knives. It attack intervals reduced greatly, so she attacks a whole lot faster, and attacks prioritize enemies with the highest defense. Now, that's the thing with her is she does magic damage with this. So usually the target with the highest defense also has really low magic resistance. So that's why this is so good. You'll prioritize the enemy with the highest defense and kill them, and it will be doing a lot more damage because, you know, as it does magic damage to them. There's usually not many enemies in this game until you get to way later in the levels that have high defense plus high magic resistance. So there you go there. Oh, and you also have her third skill. You don't have to mastery it, but it does do better if you do, called Really Heavy Spear. And she expands her attack range, does a lot of damage, and attacks now deal physical damage. And now she prioritizes enemies with the lowest defense. So this is kind of like the opposite of a really hot knives. She doesn't attack really fast though. And she also silences a target, but silence can be hit or miss depending on what you're targeting. Silence used to be really, really big, and then they kind of just eventually just with new enemies kind of nerfed it where they can't be silenced, especially bosses. so it kind of fell down in priority. But the thing here is that she switches it. It's basically like a physical damage of really hot knives. The thing of it is she attacks further instead of attacks faster. If she also attacked faster on this one, she would just be wow. She would be so good. But it's still really, really good. It's something you can use instead. But usually you'll prioritize having somebody like Exercise or some other sniper that does physical damage instead. But she is very good. If you want her as your single target caster, just grab her. But just when you grab her, level her to 90. You don't have to level. Now, I will say this: you don't have to level these characters to 90. I'm going overboard. I'm at the point where I can go overboard with these characters. E2 level 30 is a good stopping point. E2 level 50 is even better. But if you really, really want to invest in the character and everything, go all the way to 90. It takes a whole lot, but they're good. You also don't have to E2 everybody. This character's E2. You don't have to E2 everybody, but it is good if you do this. Her talents are each attack deals arch damage to the target equal to 40% of its defense. That plays into her really hot knives. And then you got Lone Journey. When there are no other friendly units in the surrounding floor tiles, attack plus 8%, attack speed plus 8. You can try this if you want to, but usually people just ignore her second talent because it makes it where you can't really heal her most of the time. So yeah, it's not that great. If you can do it, great, but if not, don't worry about it. And then really not needed on her potentials. If you get them, great, but not really needed. It improves her first talent at the fourth one, which will make her do more damage to the target, so it would help her really hot knives, but it's not needed whatsoever. There's not many things that are needed, and she has the plus attack 90. Usually anything that does attack gets mainly does damage is going to get attack. So let's go on to the next one. Those are the two 6-star core casters. Now we have our splash casters. There are 2 of those. One is Dusk, who I just recently raised up. Now I'm actually pretty much finished with her, unless I just want to max her out later. But this is Dusk. They are AoE damage splash caster. What her thing is, when Dusk or a Freeling defeats an enemy, Dusk gains attack percent plus 2, stacking up to 15 times, so she gets more attacks, and her little summon things takes into her second talent, which is the first attack after deployment will summon a Freeling, lasts for 25 seconds at the target's location, only on deployable ground tiles. So the thing of it is unless you're using her skill 3, you will only ever summon one Freeling with her second skill, and it will only last 25 seconds. So that is actually the skill you want to rank up more than any other, is her skill 3, which adds her every attack summons / refreshes a Freeling, so you actually get more of them. They last for 25 seconds only still, but every time you use this skill, you can constantly resummon extra bodies to help you out. And she does a lot of damage. I only went to Mastery Rank 2. There is nothing but a extra 5% increase on the attack after this for M3. Not worth it. Cost way too much for just a plus 5% increase to attack. I have Mastery 1 ranked her skill 1. That is because that will let her store 3 charges instead of only having 2, and you don't need nothing else there. Splash casters are not that good, unfortunately. They are very much lacking in damage compared to even Efiala, who is technically not a splash caster, but has the skills of a splash caster, really. So yeah, and she even got an extra 20 to her attack on her trust up, and she still cannot compete as a splash caster with a technically not splash caster of Efiala. Yeah. Now, Dusk is limited. I need to bring that up. She is a limited banner person. She only can be gotten during certain limited banners. The way this works is she had a limited banner a while back where she was first put out to people, and then limited banners going forward. There are extra limiteds you could get, and sometimes it could be Dusk, it could be Neon, it could be or Nyan, it could be any of the limited banner people. It just depends on what they feel like putting in that limited banner. In fact, I'm pretty sure the upcoming limited banner with Ling in it, who is Dusk and Nyan's sister, will have both Nyan and Dusk here as somebody you could get in that banner if you would like to get Dusk. The thing of it is you're more likely going to get her from sparking her. In limited banners, there's the spark system where you can have to roll 300 times on that banner, and then you could go basically purchase the character with the spark system tokens and get her. And so yeah, but usually when you get to that point, you'll want the person the banner is going to be, which if she is on that Ling banner would be Ling, and Ling is very, very good. So you'll most likely want Ling more than you would like to have Dusk. Unless in those 300 rolls you got a Ling, and then you could purchase Dusk or Nyan if you would like. But yes, Dusk, not bad. Don't if I'm going to straight up tell you right now, don't invest in her unless you just like her. Unfortunately, all casters of the splash caster class are not very good damage wise. Even with their modules that are coming out, still not good enough. Maybe when they get released the second module for splash casters, it'll be worth it. But with the first one, it's not even worth it, unfortunately. I just built her because I could. I built her sister Nyan because Ling is coming up, and I'm going to be getting Ling, so I will be, maxing out Ling too. So I'm going to have all three. The thing of it is, I guess I can just give you her backstory. Basically, she was part of a god. A long time ago, there was a dragon god person. Don't know if it's male or female, just know it was a god. And the emperor at the time decided they did not want to worship that god and decided to summon him to trick him around and basically killed him. But you couldn't basically kill a god. So what happened is they separated into a whole bunch of other people. Not gods, but very, very powerful, and they're all dragons. Dusk is a dragon, Nyan, her sister, is a dragon, and Ling is a dragon. I think there's like 4 or 5 more sisters and 1 brother of them, and I think the brother is dead. I'm not sure on that. But that's kind of what I got from the story, but I could be completely and totally wrong. So the other splash caster, one I have not built, is Mostama. Mostama is very good. Her big thing, I will bring her up in a ship here. Let me see. Might have to add a window capture so you could see her. I'm going to call it Arknights. Op. Okay. Yes. All right. Already got it there. All right. So there she is. This is most of them. Since I don't have her built, I want to be able to show you her things. Unfortunately, just like Dusk, not very good. The advantage to Dusk over Dusk though with Mustama is her skill 3. She has very big attack range, not much attack, and her increases her talent 2 skill, which is movement speed of enemies with attack range minus 15%. And attacks changes to ripples that spread outwards, dealing damage and pushing targets away with small force. So you get kind of a with Mustama, you get kind of a crowd control thing. It's not a big thing though, unfortunately. It's just not that great. Her skill 2 is not worth mastering at all because it's a stun. All bosses are immune to stuns except for Crown Slayer, which and eventually she becomes immune to stuns if you hit them too many times. It's got a diminishing returns. And then you have her skill 1, which just gives her plus attack, which you don't really want to do. I would not build Mustama. If you get her, you love her, great, but not really good. Not really good. All right. Let me go here, and I will go up here, and I will turn that off so we can go back in here. Yeah, not very good. Beautiful character design. I love the blue. I'm a big fan of blue, so I love her hair, but unfortunately, still not that great. And she gets plus 105 attack on her trust. Okay. Let me go to rarity so we can have them all here. Okay, so let me go to filter. Those are the 2 splash casters. Now we got the chain caster. There's only one of those. And that is passenger. A 6-star chain caster. You want passenger? Great. He's great now. But you got to get his module. You have to get his module. You can't not have his module to use him. His module gives so many things. The module makes him do the thing. Where's the... Ah, here it is. This is what I want. Nope, that's not what I want. Huh. Where the hell is that thing at? There we go. It does. Each jump deals, instead of 15%, it deals 10% less damage. You don't get any extra, but it helps out there. Doesn't change his talents, but eventually he'll get one that does, I think, do that. But the thing of it is this just makes him do even less damage, lets him do more damage each jump, and it increases. It does a 80% movement speed slow for a couple of seconds. Skill 3 is the one you want to max out. This is his charges deal. Does a great area of effect and everything and stuff like that. It's just his skill. I would say he's worth now to build, but you have to get his module. It costs 4 modules. Got to do some quests on stages, and you got to spend some. Let me see if I can find it out. Yeah, it costs 4 modules. 2 of the bipolar nanoplates, which are the red brick things. Let me head to Home Depot. There we are. Costs 2 of those, and 80,000 LMD, 80,000 money to do it. So just be aware of that. But he is worth it now if you want to use him. Everybody's now nicknamed him Gossinger because he does such a great thing for it now, and he's got a plus 85% attack on his trust. Yeah, he's really good now. 80% more or more HP. Passive deal 20% increased damage to them for 3 seconds. When there are no enemies in surrounding 4 tiles, he gets plus 8 attack. So yeah, he's great now if you want to get him. Everybody now nicknamed him Godsinger because he's so much better compared to what he is without his module. Don't even build him if you're not going to build his module at all. Don't even do it. And I think you have to he has to be E2 level 60 also. So if you're not going to make him level 60, then E2 level 60, don't even try and build him. Alright, so let's go into the next one, which are the Phalanx casters, which are Cornelians. I don't have Cornelian built, so we're going to go back over to the A ship here. Let me bring that up for you. So Cornelian, not a bad caster, but not something you would really want to build unless you really like her aesthetic or her way her skills work. She does not attack normally, instead increase defense and arch resistance, so they're very, very tanky when skill is active. You can use her as a decoy. Deals arch damage to all enemies with range during skill. So when she does a skill, she damages everything around her. Her first skill just does attack and gives her extra defense. Charging it lets her trait continue, can be active, so she still gets 200 defense and 20 res when it's charged. A charged effect is you let the skill overcharge. So basically, I'm not sure if it's a charge, it's the same length of charge, or if it's a little bit shorter for the overcharge. But just know you just basically have to charge the skill again to overcharge it, and that makes it a charged skill. Her skill 2, great reduced attack interval, attacks inflict slow, charged effect, attacks plus 20%, slow effect is changed to bind for 6 seconds. That's actually pretty good. Binds are really good. Slows, not bad, but binds are even better. Means they cannot be moved. They can still attack anything around them. So if it's like a ranged unit, they can still attack you, but they are stuck there for that 0.6 seconds. And then we have skill 3, which is actually the skill you'll mainly mastery on her. Expand her attack range and everything like that. Decreases damage and enemies take up to 5 stacks of plus 20% increased damage, lasting till the skill ends. So every time an enemy gets hit with this, they take more damage and more damage and more damage and more damage. So every time they get attacked, they take more damage until eventually they just get killed. Still not a great boss thing, but you know, there you go. I wouldn't build her if you don't want her. Like I haven't built her because I don't need her. I actually built her sister, the 5-star, easier because she does more of she's more easily to put out as a defensive deal. So she'll take deals, and then she's got her skill 2. I'll talk about her later if we go to 5 stars. And then let's see. Nothing in Mystic Caster. Blast Casters. Here we go. It's 6 stars. Only Ifrit is there. If you get Ifrit, build Ifrit, basically. She is what's known as an Ifrit lane. Basically, she's the one who coined that term because she's Ifrit, and she was the only one who could do this before. She is AoE debuff. He has this range right here only straight ahead of her. but it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles straight ahead of her. She's very, very good. Her trust is plus 110% attack. Now, her big things are her skill 3 and skill 2. The main skill you want to use more than anything else is her skill 2. It makes it where it gives them minus defense of 300 for 3 seconds, causing them to take burn damage. So it actually, she works well with physical damage dealers like XSI, other snipers, things like that. Anything that does that. And then we have her skill 3. Mainly, you want skill 2, but if you would like to invest even more into her like I did, skill 3 is also excellent. This was the skill that you used mainly in high risk on CC Contingency Contract Season 4. It deals great damage, but that's not really what you use it for. What you use this for is the minus res that they get. You also need a healer on her because she does unit 2% max HP every second, and if she has no healing whatsoever, she does kill herself, even at level 90, because it's a percentage health loss. But the big thing is she gives minus 20 res. Boss killing potential here. So you use this, and then you use another person who does a lot of damage, and you just melt things. Is basically what she's there for, is to help you melt things. But they got even if they're high res resistance, high resistance to magic damage, because res is magic resistance. Yeah, she's they may not melt as fast, but they still melt pretty darn good. So yes, Ifrit. I love Ifrit. Unfortunately, she is kind of situational because of the way her range works. But skill 2. If you never use skill 3, fine, but skill 2 is good enough. That is what you mainly use her for, is to create what is known as an Ifrit lane to kill things in front of her. He burns them, sets them on fire, and they can take continuous damage over time, and it's a pretty good bit of damage too. Her talents are res of enemies within her range are minus 44 already, or 40, but 44 with the talent improvement. And then she restores 2 extra skill points every 5.5 seconds. So she also uses her skills faster every 5 seconds without their talent improvement. If you get her potentials here, definitely worth it, but don't hunt for them unless you really, really want to max her out. I actually got her completely, totally not trying. I don't know why, but Ifrit just came to me pretty damn easily. Easier than some of the others I've got. I think she was like the second, maybe third person I fooled potential, especially a 6-star. So yeah, she came to me really easily. Max her out if you can and use her. She is niche because of her way her range works, but if you can think around and play with her range, she is awesome. She is totally awesome. But I think that's it. Yeah. There is no 6-star Mech Accord caster. This is the last one. So we're on to guards. There are a crap ton of guards, just to let you know. So there is, of course, let's start out with the Sword Masters, which is, again, basically, and upcoming later, Irene's better than Chen, I'm sorry to say, but yeah, you're going to be using Chen as her sniper self more than you'll use her as her guard self. I don't have her built, but I know the potentials of her. Skill 2 is basically what you do. Deals 500% physical and 500% arch damage at most 7 enemies ahead. This is what you use her for. She is the nuker. You drop her, use her skill, pick her back up. Basically what you do with her. You can do it once every 20 seconds. Usually people put down somebody like Liskarm next to her so she gets her skill back faster to nuke people more. But this is basically all she is. Unfortunately, she's not really good anymore. She used to be meta before other characters came out. But, yeah. So, yeah, if you want her, grab her. But just be aware that you're basically using her to... She's heli drop. You basically drop her, use her skill 2, pick her back up. That's what you use her for. Is mainly what she's... Go ahead and put this back over here. Turn that back off. I'm not going to cover Irene. Just know that when Irene comes in, she's basically going to be a nuker also, but she's better than Chin. Her skill 3 is what you want. It's every time I see Irene use her skill 3, I just chuckle because it's so fucking awesome. When she comes out, I'm going to get her hardcore. I don't know if I'll try and potential her all the way up, but I will definitely get her for sure. I will not accept nothing less. Alright, so let's continue on. Let's start next. Dreadnought. Dreadnoughts are Neural the Radiant Knight and Scotty. One's better than the other, one's more limited than the other. We just recently had Neural the Radiant Knight, the better one. But yes, Neural the Radiant Knight, Dreadnought Guard. Skill 3 is what you want with her. Now, she's not meta, but she will help you out a whole lot if you do get her. Unfortunately, like I said, she's limited. Her banner is now over, so you're not going to get her right now, but she will probably come again later on as part of another limited banner. But if you do want her, just for your future information, skill 3, M3, summon a blazing sun, which is basically just her sword into the ground. And the thing of it is it changes her damage to true damage when attacking enemies blocked by self or the blazing sun. Enemies will attack the blazing sun, so it is a limited health pool, but it lasts a while, and it does great damage. This is what you want if you want to ignore all defenses and reses of an enemy. Is true damage. Not many people have true damage. Neural Altar is one of them. The other one is, of course, Amiya. Amiya is free for you if you would like for true damage, but she's not meta yet because you don't need it. Not yet. You don't need true damage really yet. It's nice to have. It's a bonus. But the game is not built to need it yet, so you don't need it. Now I am 9'd her, but you don't need to do this. This one, it's up to you. I like using it. It's basically she becomes a fast deployment operator, but you have to put another operator from her same faction out before her, or put Neural out first before anybody else, because she counts as her on for her previously deployed operator. She counts her as her own. Yeah, it's nice. It's kind of funny to use her as a fast redeployment operator. She does not have the fast redeploy operator time, but she does act basically as a fast redeploy operator. But you'll be using her skill 3 more than anything else. So if you're going to mastery anything, do that. And yes, if you do have her, raise her. She gives us plus 200 HP, plus 85 attack. So she's very, very good. Her talents are, when deployed, deals 80% attack as true damage to enemies in the 4 adjunctiles and stuns them for 3 seconds. Because it deals an additional hit. So even though it kind of takes her second and third skill and kind of combines them together as a mini skill. And then her attacks ignore 20% defense straight up. I don't have any potentials for her. If you were lucky enough to get potentials for her, great, but it's not needed. Okay, and the other one is Scotty. I don't have her built, so we'll go back to the trusty website here and we'll look at that. Unfortunately, Scotty better as a support unit with Scotty Alter, which is limited because she's been surpassed, unfortunately, as her guard self. She's been surpassed hard. So yeah. The thing of it is you'll want to, I'm not even sure. Basically the way I've seen her used is as a fast redeploy operator. Of course, she's not a fast redeploy operator, but you use her as a heli drop, and you use her to kill an enemy with her. I'm not sure what you would want. Probably skill 2. It's what you would use her for anyway. So yeah, it's got the most attack up and everything. Her skill 3 has not as much, but it does have a lot of defense and max HP, so you may want that instead. Like I said, not really sure. I'm not planning on building her because she's not that good anymore. She was great when she came out, but now she really quickly fell behind. Really quickly fell behind. Alright, so let's see. Who are we going to? Those are the Dreadnoughts. Got the instructors, Hollis. I wouldn't. I don't think these instructors are any good. Instructors are basically buffers for characters around them. You would use her skill 3. I don't see the point of this character really. You like them, great, but if you don't really care, pass. Hard pass. Like I said, they buff your guys around them, but not worth it, I don't think, for it. Let's see. Centurions, please. Yes, please build this character if you get her. She is basically really, really good. The only one on par with her is Spectre, and she's a 5-star. If you get Spectre, build her too. Can never go wrong with both of them. Skill 2, basically all you want. It's her bread and butter skill. She gets a lot of attack, gets some defense. She increases the range of her attack by 1, and it's an unlimited duration. You set her down. She blocks 3 people. She gets plus 60 attack, plus 45 defense. When she gets below 25% health, she restores 50% of her health and prevents HP from falling under 50% for 7 seconds, 6 seconds normally. And then she also has static resistance after being deployed for 12, 11, 10, 9 seconds. Well, actually 12, 13, 14, 15 seconds normally. She reduces duration of stun, cold, and frozen. Yeah, she's really good for stage 7. Chapter 7. Also, if you can get her talent, get her potentials, but don't go out of your way for them. Nobody really needs their potentials. They just help. The game does not require you to have potentials at all, but they do help if you do get them. But there's not a requirement to get them unless you're doing like high-end contingency contract stuff. And if you're at that end, you don't need this video at all anyway. Build this character. Seriously, build this character if you get her. She is one of the best things. She's core, I would say. She's core to your squad. You usually have her in your squad if you have her. She's just that good. As an extra, just because she's here, I will talk about Spectre. She just recently got her altar released, and it's pretty darn good. But it's still, you would want her guard form because you would like to use her guard every now and then. She is the equivalent of Blaze. You want them both. The thing of it is her skill. Her skill will not allow her to be killed while it's going. She is stunned for 10 seconds after skill duration, but by then you usually kill the thing you were fighting. So yeah, Spectre and Blaze, two great things together. You'll want them both. As an aside, like I said, Spectre's altar just came out. It's a specialist. Like Bina, she's what's known as a doll maker. And what happens is when she dies, she's replaced by a doll. The doll does a lot of AoE damage and slows enemies around it. And then she comes back. Very powerful. There's a kitty. Up here if you want up here. Alright. It's a good kitty. Alright, let me go back to guards. Let's go into the next thing. Lords. Lords. There are two lords. You want them both. Two lords and you want them both. Silver Ash and Thorns. I guess I should start with the most powerful one, which is kind of subjective, but I'm sorry to say it is kind of Thorns. Skill 3. All you need to know about Thorns. Skill 3 and max out the skill 3 as good as you can, because it's his best skill and it does so much work for you. Upon the second activation of this skill and afterwards, the skill has unlimited duration and its bonuses are twice the base amount. You would think that would be bad. It's not. He gets his skill up so fast, he only needs to hit 15 enemies to use his skill once, and then another 15, so 30 in total to get his infinite duration. There's really nothing you need more. And you would think it would be bad, but no, there's almost always, especially in later stages, more than 30 enemies in a stage. You'll get a big use out of this. He's one of the core team members for you. I wish I had more potentials in him, but I don't have them. He does poison to target when attacking, dealing arch damage lasting 3 seconds, and damage is doubled against ranged enemies. And if he hasn't been attacked for 2 seconds, restores 3.5% of max HP every second. He's very, very powerful. He can launch ranged attacks that deal 80% of normal attack. You think that would be bad? No. No, when you get his skill 3 going, he gets 60% back of that. So, and he gets a plus 25% attack speed. He just destroys everything. And then the poison, if they somehow, go out of his range or something, using the poison will kill them. Yeah, Thorns. Get him, build him. That's all I gotta say. He's pretty much meta, Then we have Silver Ash, the other lord. Get him, build him. Base character came with the base game. One of the greatest ones you could get as your 6-star as you're rolling for your first characters. Re-roll until you either get him or somebody else that's a good 6-star. Skill 3. You gotta E2 him to unlock his skill 3, but it's worth it. That's another thing I have not mentioned. If I'm mentioning skill 3s at all, you have to E2 him to unlock it. He gets a lot less defense. Don't care. Attack plus 200%. Range expands greatly. Attacks at most 6 targets simultaneously, regarded as a melee attack. so he doesn't get his ranged attack that deals 80% of normal attacks minus. He does a lot of damage. He also has a plus attack plus 10% and all allies redeployment time minus 10%. He reveals invisible enemies within range of him. So, and he has this range. All lords have this range. Get him and build him. That's all I gotta say. He 50 attack, 50 defense. He is one of the greatest characters in this game. Has been since the beginning. He's freaking awesome. He's Silver Ash, you know. If you hear anybody talking about the Silver Ash, True Silver Slash, yeah, this is it right here. His skill 3. It's this swing, swing, swing skill. It kills pretty much everything, really. Yeah, lords are awesome. And now let's go into the Archfighter. There's only one. It's the only one you're ever going to need, really. Stutter. Skill 3. E2 this character. Max him out. Give a 100 plus 100 attack on her max trust. Her talents are she ignores 20 rest automatically. After receiving fatal damage, continuously prevent HP from falling below 1. Retreat from battlefield plus battlefield 8 seconds later, or 9 if you have the potential. Skill 3. Immediately recover all HP. Attack plus 330%. Attack range plus 2. Attack target count plus 3. Max HP plus 5,000. Gradually lose HP. HP loss caps at 20% a second after 60 seconds. In limited duration. She kills everything. This lady right here is as meta as you'll ever get in this game right now. I don't think there's anything more meta than this character. She is your boss killer with this skill. They have tried many different things to help you get to help make this character not be as meta. It worked a little bit, but people have adapted, and what they've adapted to is they put her down. Use her skill 3. Stall. Put her down. Use her skill 3. If you need to, stall again. Eventually the enemy will die. I mean, they've added, and the only thing they have not added to this game to kill this character is ignoring her talent 2, where she does not receive fatal damage. If they ever change this, where she will not have this after receiving fatal damage, keep from falling below 1 HP, then they will have broken this character, and this character will actually not be usable anymore for what you're killing with her, which are bosses. So if there ever comes a time when a boss will ignore that, prevent HP from falling below 1, that's when she'll be retired. But until then, she's meta. She is the end-all be-all of this game right now. Potentials. I would say potential 3, like I have her, is pretty much where you want to be with her to improve her Remnant Ash to 1 second more, so she'll won't retreat until 9 seconds instead of 8 seconds. Yeah. I mean, of course, her potential 4 with attack, and then her potential 5 with her improve her first talent, which ignores res. Also great things. But her main thing is improves her second talent. You don't need the potentials. Like I've said, in this game, nothing requires you to have the potentials. But she is one of the few that are really, really good with them. If you have a potential 6 Sutter, you're pretty much crushing pretty much everything, no matter what. Yeah. There's just, I can't say enough about this character. This is a character that you want. If you get this character, build her immediately, because she is your boss killer. Once you get to the boss, she's your boss killer. Put her down, she doesn't kill the boss in a single run, stall with something, put her down again. You'll kill it eventually. Ain't gonna stop her. Okay. Next thing is what is known as a Musha, which is Helliger. Okay, great character. Basically, there's another character that basically does the same thing as Helliger. It's also 6-star, so I think they're kind of interchangeable, but there are some nuances to them. Like, so this one is can't be healed by other units. Recovers 70 HP, self HP every time this operator attacks an enemy, but increases the attack speed based on the lost HP. Reaches max attack speed plus 100 when below 30% HP. Regenerates 60 HP per second when this unit is not blocking an enemy. So there's two different types of ways that this unit can heal itself. When it attacks an enemy, it heals itself. When it's not attacking an enemy and not blocking an enemy, it regenerates. So, yeah, they're very good. Plus 400 HP, plus 70 attack. Skill 2, kind of really the one you want. It gives them attack, changes attack to twice attack, and they obtaining 75% physical dodge, so they take even less damage. Yeah, it's a great character. I would recommend it if you like him. I built him because I got him up to like potential 4 without even trying. He just kept on coming to me, so I just eventually built him as I already had another character. I did Mac M1 his skill 3 to give him an extra tile of range, I think it was. Let's see. And then here's the other one. This is a fighter, not a Musha, but they're kind of were basically the same. So as a fighter, these guys blocks one enemy, but he's got a skill I'll talk about in a second. 20% chance for attacks to deal 100%, 160% damage and reduce the target's attack by 15% for 3 seconds. Does not stack. Defense plus 10 and physical dodge plus 15. So it's a little bit different, but the thing of it is this also has one of the best skills in the game. I don't know why this is not on the Musha and it's on a fighter, but it basically turns him into a Musha. It's skill 2. Can switch between the original state and the falling state. That just means you can switch back and forth. He loses 20% defense. Doesn't matter. His attack range reduces. Doesn't matter. It gets plus 80% attack. Really great. He can block one more, so he blocks 2 now. Attacks all blocked enemies. Now the big thing. And restores 7% max HP per second. So, if he's blocking 2 enemies, he will attack both of them at the same time. If he doesn't matter about his ranged, because he heals. If he can kill them quick enough, which he usually does, it's not going to be back at max HP pretty quickly. Yeah, skill 2 this guy, and it's a 5 skill cost deal. He gets this 5 seconds into the match. You put him down 5 seconds later, he's ready to rock with his skill 2. He's also only costs 10 to put down, compared to 25 of Helliger. So I give the edge to Mountain. I do like the way he works more, but I just like a fisticuff character also, so I'm kind of leaning towards that more. But if you have to choose between Helliger and Mountain, my personal pick would be Mountain. And hey, Mountain is here on the banner right now, so you do get a rate up for him. So you get a Mountain, build him up, as I would say. Skill 2 him. Skill 3, as you saw, I have skill 3 Mountain raised up. I have never once used it. Never once have I used his skill 3. Everybody was talking about, oh, I'll also raise his skill 3 if you can, because, you know, it comes in handy every now and then. I've never once had to use a skill 3. So I wouldn't raise it unless you feel like you're going to use it. The thing of a skill 3 is it pushes 4 surrounding targets away moderately at mastery rank 3. I've never once needed it. If I need a push or a switch or a puller or anything like that, I have other characters to do that with. Mastery rank 3 is second skill. This guy he owns a lane. You can put him down, and unless they are really, really powerful enemies, he will just, like a boss or something, he'll die to a boss. But like any kind of regular enemy, even ranged enemies, he'll just own them. The reason why he owns ranged enemies is because of the heal. They'll attack him unless they attack really, really fastly and do a great deal of damage to him. He will heal it before their next shot comes out. What it usually happens. It gets 45 attack and 45 defense. This guy is one I would E2 max level and all that stuff. Not needed on any of his potentials really. I've never felt a need for them personally. I mean, the attack would help. Probably increase his first skill too, his first talent, but it's not needed whatsoever. Never felt the need for it. So there you go, Mountain. Get him now while you can. He's great. Then we have a Reaper, but we only have a 5-star Reaper right now. And we also have a Liberator, but we also only have a 5-star Liberator. So guards are done. Let's talk about our medics. Alright, so we got our medics, which I'm surprised there's not a harm assist, but we got our medics. So our medics, Cal. Yes, please build Cal. Now the thing of it is she's kind of a different healer. Now I do have her maxed out completely and totally, but that's you don't need that. I'll tell you what you need with her. So the special thing about Cal is she has her monster. Can use and heal monster, and monster has 25-second redeployment time. Cal will deprioritize healing herself and monster. If monster is not within Cal's attack range, monster's defense is reduced to 0. Okay, so the thing about monster, which is this little black thing right here that my mouse is pointing at right next to her. The thing with monster is he's a big ass tank and does a great deal of damage. Cal was released back in the beta of this game. She was one of the base characters of this game back in beta. She was OP as fuck. So she's not to that level, but she's still great. She's kind of meta. She will be meta in the upcoming contingency contract number 7, especially for max contracting. But yeah, she is great. When monster is defeated, excluding retreat, all enemies in surrounding 8 tiles are stunned for 3.5 seconds and receive 1400 true damage. Now you don't need her. You don't need her potential 6. I did this because I love this character. This is my favorite character in this game. If you don't know, the community canon is, and it's not canon at all, but the community canon is she's our character's ex-wife. She was our wife a while back before we got our amnesia, and then after whatever happened that gave us our amnesia, we are divorced. So to the community, she's our ex-wife. She's always been referred to as our ex-wife. She is not her ex-wife in canon. Let me make that perfectly clear. But according to the community, she's our ex-wife. Dude, I even play along with it. If you go to my friends thing, ex-wife maxed. is what I have as my tagline. I just love this character. She is awesome. Talk about her skills. Yes, I have her Mastery 9. You don't need that. But if you can, I would suggest you Mastery 6 her if possible. But you don't need to Mastery 9 her. So the main skill you want to Mastery rank 3 is her skill 3. It gives Monster a lot of defense, attack, that directly decays to 0% over the skill duration and deals true damage. Another source of true damage, just like Neural Alter and Amia. If this skill ends without Monster killing any enemies, Monster loses 50% of his health. The skill is tied to Monster. The thing about the way this works is, it's right here. When the corresponding tied unit is no longer on the field, this unit skill immediately ends. SP is set to 0 and SP can no longer be gained. So until you put out Monster, you can't gain anything. You can't gain no skill points. So you have to have Monster out, and then you do that. And also, you really want to put Monster in range of Cal, because then he gets an extra defense on top due to the trait. Right here, his defense is reduced to 0 if you don't. Now, that's the main skill you want. You also are going to want skill 2. The reason you want skill 2 is because this is the AoE attack. Because Monster can block 3 enemies. I don't know if I can show you on this. Yeah, it doesn't look like I could show you Monster here, which is annoying. Yeah, it doesn't look like I can do that. I wish you had a skin. I'd love to have a skin. Let me show you her on the operator page here. Because you can see Monster there. Here he is right here. Let me go to... Monster has this. He's got block 3, as you can see right here. And this makes him tap equal to 3 enemies at a time. And it does it does really good damage and everything. It's also like really small SP calls, so it charges really quickly. So if you can, I would recommend also doing, because I've used both skill 3 and skill 2 to great skill 3 and skill 2 to great effect. So if skill 3 more than skill 2, but skill 2 is also really good. Gives plus 400 HP, 40 defense because she's a medic. The thing you got to watch out for this is you'll want her, but you also want another healer, because once she concentrates mainly on healing herself and Monster. I don't know why they haven't created the class Pharmacist yet, because that's basically what she is. She's a medic that does damage. Does a great deal of damage. Tied to a Monster, of course, but, you know, it's still her, because Monster is her spine, you know. So, I would still say, yes, this is one of the greatest characters in this game, is Cal. This gets you a Cal. You can't go wrong with an ex-wife. All right, the other medic is Shining. The other just straight medic is Shining. The thing with Shining is she gives you defense. Her skills give you defense. Skill 3. As you can see, I don't have it mastery ranked. Don't need it whatsoever. Never felt the need for it. And I switch between skill 2 and skill 3 quite a bit. The next heal generates a shield on his target for 3 seconds. The shield can absorb damage equal to 35% of Shining's attack, and the target's defense plus 35% can store charges. 2 charges can go up to 3 charges with mastery ranks. And then attack plus 40, which gives her greater healing. All medics, when they get more attack, do greater healing. because their healing is based on their attack. And all allies within range of her range gives plus 60 defense, 60% defense. So anybody in this in these tiles here, when she activates skill 3, and if you have all of these field, which I don't think is possible because limits of how many operators you can have, will get plus 60 defense. She doesn't have to heal them. They just, when the skill is activated, they get 60% defense. Awesome character. Her talents are, she automatically gives defensive allies within range plus 60 defense, 65 with a potential, and she has a plus 10 attack speed, plus 3, which is 13 at full potential. Don't need potentials on her either. They do help, I will say that. If you do want to mastery rank something, mastery rank her skill 3, because this is the one you use most of all. If you would like to, you can also, I think her, what is it? Mastery rank 1? Nope. Oh, okay. That is up to you. I wouldn't say it was worth it. You have to mastery rank 3 this skill to get 3 charges. Unfortunate, but yeah. But Shining, she is your healer for defense. If you have a Shining, you're great. Everybody's been asking for a Shining altar because she has a sword, and they say she is better with her sword than as a medic. And she is very, very powerful. So she would be one of the most powerful beings in the universe when she was a guard or something, they say. Okay, so next on our medics, that is the straight medics. Then we have the multi-target medics. And that's Nightingale. If you get Nightingale, build her. Just like the other two I've mentioned so far. The reason why is because instead of doing defense like Shining does, she does res. Yay, she makes you better against magic damage, which eventually becomes a really big problem in this game, especially in Chapter 8 of this game and going forward. There is a lot of enemies and bosses that do magic damage. If I would suggest mastery ranking this because it just gives you a crap ton more of them. It gives plus range, plus 150 range, a res, 150%, and a 25 arch dodge where they just straight up don't take damage. Also, skill 2, great. You need to get to mastery rank 1 to get 3 charges, so I'm pretty much going to be doing that eventually. It doesn't give as much res, but it does give a shield equal to 60% of her attack, and does it only absorbs arch though. So yeah, that's where you got to kind of watch her. You got to make sure you only use her for that. I've also got her module, which basically just gives her a expanded range. Is basically what it does. Basically all it does, gives her a little bit more attack and a little bit more magic resistance to everybody. But yeah, it's 4 modules, 2 of the crystalline electro assemblies, which are the spike cubes, I call them. Where are they? Yeah, I don't even have one. Let's go to base them. I'll make sure I show you one. It is this thing right here. Crystalline electric unit. Or according to a ship, it's a crystalline electro assembly. But in game, it's a crystalline electronic unit. Is what it is. So, and 80,000 LMD. Module not needed. Does greatly help you though, because she gets 1 extra range. And that range comes in handy on a couple of stages because she does have a pretty good range. She is a AoE healer let me be specific about that. She is also an AoE healer. She heals multiple allies at once. This is the range. This range deal down here, if you look at it where my mouse is the range of an AoE healer, and she has this one extra tile because of the module, but her range also expands again to one more in that direction. So it would be one more out, and I don't think it does. No, it stays at 3, but so I don't think it'll expand there. But she does get a range tile here and here, and here, and like up here and here and here and here. So she does end down here all the way around. She doesn't get an extra row on the back, but she does expand a range where she heals one more extra out of it. So she goes here, here, and here. And I think with the module, she goes here and here, here and here. Is the way it works. I don't think she gets an extra range out to here, but she might. But that doesn't matter because she's awesome. Get you a Nightingale if you can, because she is the only one in this whole game that will raise your res. It's the only way in this game to give you more res. Unless you have a skill on an operator that gives res, of course, but she is the only one who can raise the res of other operators. That's a medic. Okay. Let's see. Honorable mention to Pizzophilus, who's also a multi-target medic. If you get Pizzophilus, raise her because of her skill, which increases the SP recovery rate of all allies by 0.3 seconds. Only the highest spectator's type will be applied. It is awesome. Grab it if you can. Grab her if you can. Okay, let's go into a therapist. Lumen is the 6-star therapist. He is not available yet. That is a future operator, and we don't have a 6-star wandering medic yet. So there you go. Let's go on to the next class, which is snipers. Okay, so snipers. Okay, so you have 3 of them. Exercise. Basically, you're really fast attacker and sniper. Grab her if you get her. She's the other one that's been in since the base game. Still really, really great. She has fallen off a little bit as you get more higher defense enemies later in the stages, but she's still really good. But basically, that's what she does. She attacks really, really fast. Skill 3, M3 is the one you want because he shoots really fast, really, really fast, and it increases her attack. It's just the greatest one. It's also automatically activated. The big thing about that is you got to time her right. If you place her too quick, maybe when a boss enemy comes out that you're trying to use her against, maybe her skill is not up. So you gotta kind of use her with timing with her skill 3, but her skill 3 is her greatest skill. So not much to say about her. She's just really, really good. She's a cute little red-haired angel. She's apple pie. She always says apple pie because she likes apple pie. Alright. Limited. Can't get her anymore. Don't know if we'll ever get her again. Ash. She is the marksman. She's kind of like exercise. The thing of it is, though, is you want her skill 2. And the thing about her skill 2 is that she stuns the enemy when she uses it, and they take a crap ton more damage. And it also has bullets, and her skill can continue on until she uses all bullets, or you can also manually deactivate the skill to recharge it earlier. So yeah, I wish I could say get her, but you can't. But if you ever get the opportunity, I don't know if we ever will, grab her if you can. Her skill 2 is what you want in M3. Yeah, she's great, but if you don't have her, you can use Exercise. Archetto is the next one that's a marksman. I don't know why she's a marksman, because she doesn't attack near as fast as a marksman. She still attacks fast, I'll give you that, but she's more like and Blue Poison's even a marksman, and they don't attack as near as fast as Exercise. But still, it's they're good. So Archetto, I don't have her built really. I've got her up to level 50, but I don't have any of her skills mastery. If you're going to mastery a skill on her, the one you'll be doing is skill 2, I think. I say skill 2. Most people would do skill 3, but I would like to have skill 2 instead, because it can store charges and everything. I like it better than the skill 3, but do whatever one you want, really. And she gets plus 90 attack. Every 2.5 seconds when deployed, restores 1 skill point to all deployed sniper allies that have offensive recovery skill. It'll say in the skill what it is. If you go to here, it says it's auto recovery, offensive recovery. So it would only work on exercise skill 1. If you go to, if you go to Ash, and no offensive recovery, so it does not work with them. Blue Poison, offensive recovery only works with skill 1, which is not bad because skill 1's pretty good on Blue Poison. You know, Swartz, offensive recovery S1 only. Kin Alter, offensive recovery skill 1 only. Rose Montes, offensive recovery, so it's basically only skill 1, so it doesn't really help you, you know. But there it is right there. And we're deployed, each unit gains 1 shield, blocks 1 inches of damage per layer shield, restores 7 skill points after shield break. So she automatically gains 7 skill points when she loses her shield. So she'll pretty much always get 7 skill points eventually. I like her, but unfortunately she's, you know, if you got Exercise, you don't need Archetto. And that's the end of the marksmen. Got artillery. W. Limited. Unfortunately limited. But if she is one of the most unlimiteds of limiteds. She usually appears off in them. I think she was off in the neural one recently. But yeah, if you were lucky enough to get you a W, mastery her skill 2 and skill 3. I would say personally skill 2 over skill 3, because this is like set her and forget her type of thing, and she stuns the enemies, and she does more damage to enemies that are stunned within her range. So, you know, yeah, and her skill 3 is a really high damage thing, but you have to kind of stack the enemies on top of each other to get it to work. So if a boss goes actually one way and the regular enemies go another way, this doesn't help you out at all. Eventually we'll get Flametta as a artilleryman. Well, I'll talk about her when she gets here, but that's W. Spread shooter, Chin, Meta, limited. You're gonna have to get used to that. She gets plus 80% attack, better than her guard counterpart. Skill 3, M3 is what you want, because great attack range expands, plus 100% attack. Attacks deal damage twice. Apply this unit's trait effect to all enemies within range, which is attacks all enemies, deals 150% damage in a row directly in front of this unit. So she actually does that to everybody, and creates a layer of sticky liquid in attack range that lasts for 5 seconds. ground enemies passing over the sticky liquid have minus 40% movement speed and minus 200 defense. 220 defense does not stack. And it's also one of those ammo things like Ash where you can end the skill early to set it up for later. Meta. Powerful. Really powerful. When deployed, Chen's ammo-based skills have 20% chance not to consume the supporting ammo for each shot. Other sniper operators' ammo-based skills have a 10% chance instead. 8% attack speed, and when there is a water train on the battlefield, the effect becomes plus 12. So she has plus 8, but you can get up to plus 12 when you're in a water stage, which is like Dulce's. If you have her, great. If you don't have her, she'll come around again eventually. Try and get her down. I'm sorry to say, but a lot of meta operators are the limiteds. But you know, when the most meta of all is not Stutter, you can get it any time. I know, I'm sorry. Heavy shooter, Schwartz. Great physical damage dealer. Great boss killer. Single target line though with her skill that does it. This skill into a 4 frontal lane, so she's like in a freak with one less range. Attack interval increases a bit, which means she attacks a little bit slower. Does greatly increased attack and increasing talent, triggering chance to 100%. Her talent is the armor penetrating arrow. When attacking, has a 20% chance, 100% with the skill, to increase the current damage of that attack to 160% and reduce the defense of the target hit by 20% for 5 seconds, which means she gets another percent attack on top of her 180, and the enemy takes more damage. And then she crossfire. When Schwartz and at least one more sniper operator on the battlefield, all snipers are attack plus 8%. That's good if you're stacking snipers, which you could do without. She also has a really short range, as you can see here, but you know, if you want a boss killer and they are weak in the defense department, Schwartz is your person. Boss killer Schwartz, you know, really great. Move on to Deadeye's Fartooth. I don't have Fartooth build, so I'll have to bring her up in the web browser. Skill 3 is because it's a straight line, infinite range in front of her. Basically kind of like Schwartz. When they're when attacking enemies outside of her default attack range, so anything in the green, and it's infinite, she deals another 140% damage on top of that. And then she has the when damage is taken with 10 seconds, she gets an attack up, and when skill is active, reduce taunt level and attacks ignore the target's physical evasion. So she'll take less chance to get attacked when she has her skill up, and she ignores if they have any kind of physical evasion whatsoever. I don't have her built. She's pretty good if you want a straight line attacker. You can also use her skill 2 if you wish to, which is outside of her. She can attack any enemies outside of her attack range when they are blocked. So if you have if you have her all the way on one side of the screen and your defenders all the way on the other side of the screen, or anybody that can block anything, you can attack them no matter where they are on the screen. Infinite range. Kind of cool, but not really great. And she's the only 6-star of that type. Besieger, Rosa. Crowd control. If you want some extra crowd control in your deal, great, but if not, it's not needed. Attack plus 25%, not really what they're for. Immediately fires 4 harpoons at the 4 heaviest enemies within range, binding them so they can't move, and attacking them once every second for the duration of this skill. So it's not really a great deal of damage, but it does hold something there, stalling, for a pretty good while there. When attacking a heavy enemy, ignores 60% of its defense. Enemies with 3 weight or higher account for this effect. There are weights in this game and stuff like that, and that's one of the higher weights. Bosses, I think, always weigh more than 3, so she would hold it pretty good. When this unit is in squad, all Ursus student self-governing group operators gain plus 8% attack. So faction bonus. Like I said, DPS, crowd control, as you can see down here. She has this little bit of a funky range, but it's not bad. And but she's great for stalling if you need it. Higher end content is therefore. And then we have a flinger, the only flinger in the game, which is Rosemontes. Rosemontes cannot attack aerial enemies. So you have to be aware of that. Don't use her thinking you're going to attack aerial enemies. She doesn't do that. Attacks deal 2 instances of physical damage to ground enemies in a small area. The second instance is a shockwave that does half the normal attack. Attacks ignores 160 defense, not a percentage, just straight up 160 defense. And when deployed, attack grants 8% attack to this unit and a random deployed caster operator. And she has this range here, which is great. And then she has the skill you'll want to use is her skill 3, because it's basically blocks enemies. It throws down these deals and it blocks enemies and she attacks them. There are enemies that are hit are stunned for 3 seconds, and blocked enemies deal minus blocked in the blocked enemies defense is minus 160 on top of 160 that she already has. So yeah, great character. Unfortunately, not that great. Limited, one of the few limiteds that is not meta, but is decent if you want them. All right, so that is all of these snipers. We're on to specialists, which is we have the executors, which are fast redeploy operators, which there's only 1 6-star right now, and that is Phantom. Well, you don't need him. He's nice because of his deal, which is he can summon a stronger clone with the same abilities as him, but has its own redeployment time. So if you need somebody to be in 2 places at once as a fast redeploy operator, then Phantom's your man. But without it, it's not really needed. I did his skill 2 as a Mastery 3 because he gets a big old deal of attacking when he's deployed. But a lot of people also use him for skill 3, which he does physical damage to enemies and pushes them back, and randomly inflicts either slow, bind, or stun for 3 seconds. So he's a fast redeploy operator. Not much else you can say about that. If you do get him, I can seriously say get his module, because it gives more of his cost back. So he costs 9 at E2 without full potential, with only 1 potential. So if you had no potential on him, he would cost 10. He would, and when you put him out, he only refunds a certain amount of his DP that you used. But with him, with his module, he gives you like 80% of your refund cost back. I think is how that works. Yeah, he gives you 80% of his cost back. Is basically what it's for. He gives also 100 HP and plus 50% attack. Plus 50%. Not percent. Plus 50 attack. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's Phantom. He's the 6-star fast redeploy operator. So let's move on to, we don't have this character yet, Mr. Lee. We don't have him as a merchant yet. I have Jay and Mr. Nothing, but I don't have either of them built. And I will never be building Jay because he's better as a low-level character in the base. What he does in base. Better as not building him. Now we have the Hook Master, which are your pullers. And that is the best one. And the only one is Gladia. Now, Gladia is an event-only character. And event is not here right now, but is coming again soon in CN, which will mean it will eventually come again in EN Global soon. 50 attack, 50 defense. She's a shifter. She only attacks right in front of her. She pulls the enemy towards her. Her skills. I maxed out both 1 and 3 because those are the ones you really use the most with her. Her skill 3 is like a tornado, gets on there and they are constantly pulled to the center of it, does some damage and everything like that. Her skill 1 is basically her regular, just basically a regular pull, and she can store 3 charges of it, is why I freed it. Yeah, but she's free. You don't have to purchase her. She's limited, but she's free because she's the free operator that came with what is known as the Undertides event. And eventually that event, like I said, will come around again because they're about to have a redoing of it in the Chinese server. So eventually it will come around to the global servers again. About 7-8 months from now. So eventually you will be able to get her. She's a free 6-star. Get her. Pull her. Don't need to build her, but she is I say she's the best of the pullers, but you can get by with like Cliffheart or Rope or somebody if you want. Ambushers. This is Mizuki. Unfortunately, not very good. I'll go ahead and bring her up on the webpage. Unfortunately, she's worse than really the other ones. You will want her skill 3 if you're going to do anything. Talent. So her talent 1, which is when attacking, deal arts damage equal to 50% of attack to the target with the lowest HP. He expands her attack range, attack 150%. Talent 1 targets 2 additional enemies, so 3 enemies in total. Inflicts stun for 1 second, so when the attack hits less than 3 enemies, Mizuki loses 12% HP. So you have to have AoE. You have to have a lot of enemies around her. That's why she's worse, basically, than her 4-star, 5-star counterparts. Manicore's better, 5-star. Ethan's better, 4-star. Because Ethan binds the enemies, Mizuki just slows them. Or stuns them. Manicore slows, but it's a great slow, like 80% slow. So don't worry about Mizuki. Don't have to worry. Push Stroker, which is Weedy. Limited. Best pusher. Limited though. Well, no, actually, no. Sorry, I take that back. She's not limited. I'm sorry. That was my mistake. The thing with Weedy is she's on the limit. She was released with the limited banner of W, the sniper I talked about a little bit ago, the AoE sniper, the artillery sniper. So that's why I was confused. She's not limited. I'm sorry. That's my fault. You can get Weedy from a regular banner now. She's the best 6-star pusher. She's not the best 6-star pusher because she's the only 6-star pusher, but she is the best pusher. She does this. It's her skill 3 that does it. She immediately fires fires a compressed liquid nitrogen cannonball, dealing 350% arch damage in an area and pushing enemies away greatly. For 8 seconds, enemies hit by this ability take true damage proportional to the distance traveled. So, more true damage. If the reverse water cannon, which is her special little thing she can put out, is located within 4 tiles, it will also activate this ability. You could, if you need another lane covered, which is within 4 tiles of where Weedy is, you can do this to 2 different lanes, greatly increasing her damage output because she does true damage. So yes, now I also have skill 2, mastery 3, because it is used a pretty good bit, not greatly compared to her S3, but it does help out on certain things, especially in contingency contracts. What it is it's unlimited duration AoE push. Not as far, but you'll want the mastery 3 because it moves it up to moderately, and that greatly increases the pushback. So yeah, compared to her unmastered skills. So she can attack all blocked enemies, which she only blocks 2. She does block 2 though, and can deploy it on ranged tiles. Can deploy a reserve water cannon that lasts for 20 seconds. The water cannon can attack one target and push it away slightly, so you can do a little bit of extra pushing in other areas. You usually use that to push somebody in like a single lane that has a hole next to it, so you can kind of control 2 lanes with her. Increases the shift level of the water cannon's normal attack and skills by 1, and Weedy will restore 1 SP per 3 seconds if the water cannon is located within 4 tiles of her. So E2ing her gets her this one, which increases this one up here. And then you can do her skill 3 and get her skill 3 double. You can actually double up with it too. Sometimes you can do that. She doesn't have much range, but she doesn't really need it. Yes, that's why that's as soon as I saw I had potential 6 on her, that's when I remembered she's not limited. Oh man. Yes, if you have Weedy, build her 45 attack, 45 defense, because she is the best pusher in the game. Now we have a Trap Master. No 6-star version of that, but if you have either Frost or Robin, I would recommend building them. Frost is limited though, just like Ash, because she's in the same banner, and so we never know if we're going to get her again. So if you have Robin, which she is available for free in the Mansfield break event, go to, after you clear like stage 3 or 4, go to Be Prepared, and she is this one right here, clear MB-4, and you get Robin. And then in the shop there is her potentials tokens, so get her and build her skill 2, or skill 1, whichever one, but I would get the skill 1 personally, but I maxed her out because I love trappers in this game. I'm eventually going to max out her levels. Don't worry about that at all. Doll Keepers, no 6-star yet. That's Spectre, the Spectre Altar that is coming up that I talked about earlier. He is the 6-star version of Bina, which is this character here. Doll Keepers are that does not retreat upon receiving lethal damage. Instead swaps to a substitute. Substitute has 0 block. Blocked back to original after 20 seconds. Very, very big sustain on these characters. And then we have the only geek in the game, Ak. I don't have him built. I need to build Ak. The big thing about Ak, and I'll bring him up in the skill deal here, and that is that his skill 3 is immediate attack the nearest ally ahead, prioritizes allies directly in front 15 times with 500 attack. Thereafter grant attack plus 50 and attack speed plus 50 to self and target for the duration of the skill. So basically what you do is you activate this skill, wait until it's activated on the person you're putting it on, then immediately retreats Ak so he can't damage your ally, the operator, anymore, and they will get a plus 50% attack and plus 50% attack speed boost. Mainly used with somebody like Sutter to give her skill 3 a lot more damage and a lot faster. So she'll get more attacks in at that time. That's basically what Ak is for, is he's to buff an enemy, a ally is basically what he's for. I really need to build him because he is kind of important in boss killing strategies. Alright, and that is all of these specialists, if I remember correctly. Yes. So we're on to supporters. The Kyle Binders, which only, well, actually there's 2. There's Angelina here. So deals arch damage and slows the target for a short time. That's mainly what the supporters do, especially that have attacks. All allies attack speed plus 8 or plus 7. Restores the HP of all allies by 25 or 20 per second when the skill is not activated. My first ever potential 6. I actually pulled on her and bought her out of the shop when I first ran into our banner because I loved her character so much. She's a staple in my team when I need somebody to slow or I need extra healing, but I don't want to bring an extra medic. Now her second, you got to remember her HP of all allies per second when skill is not activated. So don't use her skill 1. Skill 3 is the one you want to mastery because it's the one that it's mainly used. All enemies' weight level reduces by 1, so she worked with pushers really well. She expands her ranged. Her attack goes to 150%, and she can attack 5 enemies at once. Cannot use normal attack when the skill is activated, so she doesn't attack at all if she does not have this skill activated. And then we have her skill 2, which is useful in some situation. It's more about attacking only one enemy. She attacks them quickly. The arch damage, but the arch damage dealt by every attack is only 40% of attack. So she doesn't attack with a whole lot of damage, but she attacks them really, really quickly. And it is useful in certain situations. She gives plus 75% attack for trust. If you get Angelina, build her. He's the best, one of the best. There's another one, but I would say he's the best. I hate to say it, but I think she's the best 6-star. The other one is Susan. No, this is either or. I like Angelina more. I'm sorry to say, my light of Suzerain. If you go to anything like Reddit or the Discord for this game, Suzerain is known as our light because she's so happy and beautiful and all kinds of things. She's such a little light fluff ball. Cinnamon roll, as they're known. Cinnamon rolls. He gives plus 75% attack. He deals arch damage and slows the target. When deployed, increases the SP recovery rate of all supporters by 0.4. And Binding Circle, enemies in range that are slowed are afflicted by 20% fragile, which amplifies all damage only and effect for equivalent duration. So Suzerain is more meta than Angelina, but I like Angelina more. Sorry to say. So mastery rank her skill 3. That is mainly what you use her for. The thing of it is she stops attacking and attack range expands into a big circle around her. The effect of this unit's second talent increases to 2 times, so she'll actually put a 40% fragile on the enemy, and they are slowed even more. Are slowed. Well, it doesn't. It all enemies are slowed. It's not just the one she attacks. Is why it says that. Heals all ally units within range for 20% of this unit's attack every second. This is a stacking boss killer. You use Suzerain. You use somebody else that also has this if you can stack it on top of each other. Yeah. And then her skill 2 is, I only have it at mastery rank 1 because it gets her, it lit up to her hit up to 3 enemies. Without this, she would only attack 2, and it's a limited duration. So it's another limited duration. You put her down, forget about her, let her do her thing, basically. I want to say Suzerain is more meta than Angelina, but it's just like by a hair. Unless you're doing boss killing, then Suzerain is, of course, totally 100% better. Okay. Summoners. Magellan. Stalling character. Basically is what she does. Amazingly, skill 1. Slows in with attack ranges unit drones every 3 seconds for 1 second. Activates. Instead of slowing, binds the target for 2.5 seconds. Retreats all drones after the effects ends. This is a summoner character. This is what you use her for mainly. Is her skill 1, where you bind the target when you attack, when you do it for 2.5 seconds. So you hold everything that's in range of these drones and everything in the range of these drones, and they stop and don't move for 2.5 seconds. Great staller. Armed combat module, I just use this for having somebody, if I want to just use her as a single person, to her skill 2 is doing melee damage, skill 3 is doing range damage, but her skill 1 is mainly what I use her for, and she summons drones, things like that. And then eventually, after Contingency Contract 7, which is sometime this June, we will get the Ling banner, the best summoner in the game. Right now, actual best summoner in the game is named Scene, which is a actual free operator from an event, if I remember correctly. So yeah, he's the Magellan, even though she's a 6-star, is not the best one. She is if you want to stall. But if you want somebody who also does attacks and everything at the same time, you want Theme. Until Ling comes out. And then Ling takes over and it is the best summoner in the game. Meta. Limited. Summoner. So just gotta put that out there. Some people don't like the summoner. Okay, so Hexer. This is our next new character. Is going to be Gnosis. I'll go ahead and talk about him, and I'll show him off on screen right now. Okay. Frost, freeze, blows, freeze, things like that. Chill for 1 second. Apply 25% weakening effect to chilled enemies. Within attack range, that means they do less damage. Increase the weakening effect to 2 times against frozen enemies within attack range. 10 seconds after deployment, all operators gain resist for alien trading. So faction thing. Skill 3 is what you'll be using with him. Attack speed plus 130. Attack 2 targets simultaneously. Frozen enemies within attack range remain frozen until the skill ends. Falling. When the skill ends, deal 600% arch damage to all frozen enemies. Damage. And remove the frozen effect. Prioritize unfrozen enemies. Okay. Skill 2, also really good. Deals 200 arch damage to all enemies with attack range and inflict chill for 4 seconds. Charged effect. This is another person who can charge. Remember what I said with Carnelian? Charge is recharging the skill on top of the charge that you already have. So you have to wait longer. So as it's 6 seconds at Mastery 3, you would have to wait probably 12 seconds to get an overcharged effect. Inflict an additional layer of chill. So chill means slow. Basically, attack speed, well, at less attack speed, basically. As stacked, effect changes to freeze. So yes. I'm going to be getting him. I'm going to be building him because he is the first character besides somebody else who's a 4-star that does chill and freeze. Don't know how meta he is, but he's pretty good for, you know, stuff like that. Let me clear that, go back to filter. Okay. He's not the best in that type though. That is Shamir. Shamir is the best because apply 30% fragile effects. But even bigger, you know how Suzerain has that fragile effect? This is bigger unless Suzerain is using her skill. With an attack range with less than 40% HP. But then Shamir one up Suzerain by the Curse Doll, which is a minus 50% fragile thing. And it doesn't reduce res, but it does reduce defense by 50%. And their attack also, so bosses do less damage. So, yeah. Bards. Scotty, the only 6-star bard. Limited. Meta. You're gonna hear, like I said, you hear that a lot. Skill 2, mainly the one you want. Skill 3, also good if you want to do damage, true damage. Skill 2, all other allies within unit gain inspiration, increases base stats. So, like, if it's attacking, it's attacks. If it's defense, you know, defender, defense. Equal to 60% of this unit's attack and defense. Why you want to max her out. The healing effect of this unit's trait is increased to 20%. So she heals, does not attack, but continuously restores the HP of all allies within range. The HP restored per second is equal to 10% of self-attack. Self is unaffected by inspiration. So attack is at level 90, max level 480. I don't have her deal, that would be even more. So 10% of 418 would be whatever it is. So she heals us. She heals a crap ton of health. Now she is kind of slow until she gets a skill on, and it is unlimited duration. So you got to get her out there. And then her skill 3, this unit's trait changes to losing 5% of HP every second. Deals 70% attack as true damage to all enemies within range every second. Damage from this unit and the Seaborn stacks. All allies within range gain inspiration equal to 100% of this unit's attack. Earn 10%. So she has this Seaborn. Can use a Seaborn that lasts for 25 seconds. The Seaborn's attack range is regarded as an extension of this unit's attack range. So this is her attack range here. He has another one. Now the Seaborn is only in a one circle area around it. So it would be, so say this middle square would be the Seaborn where it's white. Then this one around it would be the Seaborn's attack area. So it's not that great, but it's still good, and you could put it anywhere on the map too. It can't be attacked either, so it will always last 25 seconds. And then her predatory habits: attack plus 6% when there's an allied unit within range itself or the Seaborn. If the allied unit is an abyssal hunter, operator gain plus 15% more attack. So that goes with her skill 3, because she only attacks with her skill 3. When it's activated, and it also deals, as you can see, true damage. Now she's not meta, but she is meta in that she pretty much is the best supporter you can have because of the way her support works with all the healing and everything, and they buff to attack, defenses, and all kinds of things. You know, so meta, limited. Get her if you can eventually. Sojourner, no 6 stars. Artificers, no 6 stars. 2 defenders. Alright, so we got protectors. Got 2 of those. Oshigumi. Skill 2. Basically is what you use. No M3s needed. Defense plus 21%. Deals 80% of attack physical damage to all enemies that attack Oshigumi. If you're going to M3 anything, I would think you would do her skill 3. I would do skill 2 personally, but skill 3 is the one mainly everybody uses because she does a AoE attack in front of her. You get some defense and gets a lot of attack, and she just does a pizza cutter in front of her. Spins around her shield in front of her and does a lot of damage. 60 attack, 60 defense. She has a 25% chance to risk physical and arch damage, and she increases defense of all defenders by 6%. Blocks 3 enemies as a defender. Yeah. Not much else, but she is one of the best defenders in the game. If you want straight up pure defender, here you go, Hoshigumi. And then we got Neon as the other protector. Limited. Can't say that enough. She's limited. She has her E2 art if you want to look at her limited 2 art. Blocks 3 enemies. Defender. When this unit is in the squad, all defenders gain plus 16% max HP. At deployment, you immediately gain 3 shields. Block 1 instance of damage per 3 shield. Per shield. So she blocks 3 straight up, negates 3. Skill 3 is what you mainly use her for. Attack plus 120%. Nearby ally units gain defense plus 80%. Blocks an extra enemy, so she blocks 4. And status resistance, which she gets 50% reduction to stun, cold, and frozen. If you have her, she's not better than Hoshigumi, but she's a different one if you want. So yeah, she's one of the sisters I was talking about. She's a dragon sister. Okay, on to Guardians. 2 of them. I'm going to go in the non-meta order right now. Blimishheim. Not the best one, but she's very, very good for being not one of the best ones. Plus 90 attack, plus 20 defense, not limited. Skill 3, skill 2, skill 1. All could use M3s, but you'll mainly be using her skill 3 because it puts enemies attack arch damage and restores HP and nearby allies besides yourself for 100% of Blimishheim's attack. So this just greatly increases her healing in a single deal. Skill 2 puts enemies to sleep, invulnerable, and undertake any actions, but as her skill 2, she can attack sleeping enemies. Well, not as her skill 2, but as her skill. When deployed, Blimishheim can attack and will prioritize sleeping enemies. Increase attack to 140% when attacking sleeping enemies. So yeah, her skill 2. And then her skill 1 is a charge thing, which does like other charge, and it's a healing thing. If you're going to be using her with the Mudrock character, then actually skill 2 is your best bet, because it's easier to charge. It's a defensive recovery, so she has to get hit, but she can heal when she puts enemies to sleep. So she and since you usually put her next to Mudrock, will not be attacked, and she can heal Mudrock, and Mudrock cannot be healed by other healers except for these restore the HP of all nearby enemies allies by 17% of Blimishheim's attack every second. That can bypass Mudrock's no heal by other people. Not meta, but a great healing defender. The best healer defender by far, though, is Saria, unless you're using Mudrock, of course. But if you're not using Mudrock, and you don't always use Mudrock, you use her a great deal, but you don't always use her, you use Saria. M9, this character, I cannot stress this enough. She is the best defender healer, and sometimes better than other healers, and you only need Saria to heal other characters. So let's talk about her. Can heal allies by using the skill. Ryan charge suit. For every 20 seconds Saria is deployed, attack plus 6%. Or 5%. and defense plus 5% or 4%, stacking up to 5 times. She heals based on her attack, so yeah, the higher this is, the better. When Saria restores an ally's HP, she also restores 1 extra skill point to them. So she makes them go with their skills faster. Her trust is attack plus 50, defense plus 60. She has no range whatsoever except for what is on top of her. She blocks 3 as most average defenders, because that's mainly what defenders are. I have her at potential 6. Don't need them, but every little bit helps, but you don't need it. I have her Mansfield Break Skin on. This is the skin that is in the shop right this second. It is my favorite one, of course, because I just love her aesthetics. She looks like a cop, and you know, she's a she's a jailer in that skin. Talk about her skills. Skill 1. Restores the HP of nearby allies with less than 50% HP by 180% of the operator's attack in the next attack. Really, really good. You want to get this up to 3 charges. I think you only need to get to... you have to M3 it, so... She is one of the most costly operators, but she's also one of the best operators. Skill 2. Restore the HP of all allies within a certain range by 140% of Saria's attack. Let me show you this range here so you understand. This is her range. Skill. This whole area around her is her range. Her skill 1 is a short range. It's only a square around her. Skill 2, greatly increased range. Not as much healing output though. Nowhere near as much healing output as her skill 3. Skill 2, I mean. Skill 1. Sorry. Skill 2 is nowhere near as much healing output as skill 1. Skill 3 is the one that most people would say do have more, because it heals all nearby enemies in the range for 35% of Saria's attack every second. Not a great deal amount of healing, but inflicts plus arch damage taken and minus 60% movement speed to all nearby enemies. So this is like Suzerain's S3, and they stack. So you get a 40% free fragile from Suzerain's S3, 55% more arch damage taken, 80% movement speed on Suzerain, 60% more movement speed to all nearby enemies. Stacking them is the be-all, end-all of quick boss kills. So, if you have a single boss coming, or multiple bosses even, this and Suzerain together with their skill 3 and Saria's skill 3 make it where somebody can just which basically kill the shit out of something. They ain't gonna survive. So that just makes Sutter even better. Yeah. So, Saria, meta. Most people, but I don't think many people agreed. And there is a serious argument of which skill people say to M3. You'll see, every now and then a tier list comes out of which character's skills to M3. Saria's is constantly across the board high. Every one of them. So most people say if you can afford it, if you're at the point you can afford it, M9 her, because all of her skills are good. All of them are great. So yes, one of the best defender healer we have. Better than Blemishine, unless you're using Mudrock and need an extra heal from it. Okay, so let me go back to go here. On to the next one. Arts projectors. We don't have a 6 stars yet. Juggernaut. Mudrock. Alright, let's talk about Mudrock. One of the best single target lane holders in the game. She's a defender, but she also has a crap ton of damage. And she also has a crap ton of control. So, Thrust 500 HP. She is elite of HP. And plus 60 defense. Great defense. Blocks 3. Slightly slow attack. Doesn't matter. Cannot be healed by allies unless you're Blemish Shine skill 2 or Scotty's skill 2. Ward of the Fertile Soil. Every 9 seconds gain 1 shield. Can have up to 3 stacks, with 1 stack immediately granted immediately when deployed. When a shield is broken, restore 20 to 22% of max HP. This is why she holds lane. This is huge. So shield negates the damage. If she's damaged already though, she can heal. So it's goes back and forth. Unless the enemy is like a boss, because that's when it gets to it, is she, and some of them, it doesn't matter if they're a boss or not, if they don't attack quick enough. If she can redeploy her shield before she gets attacked by a boss, or the boss can't stun her or bind her or anything like that, then she just tanks forever. And eventually she'll kill what she's tanking because they take damage. Unshakable Solidarity takes 30% less damage from Sarakaz enemies. That's her race. She got the horns and everything, so that's like W now. Not a big thing, but it is. It's there. Potentials. Not needed, but I potentialed her up because this is the other character I love in this game, besides Cal, and that's Mudrock. If I don't have an ex-wife anymore, I have a wife, and Mudrock's my new wife. There you go. That's how that is. Okay, talk about the skills. Skill 2, Skill 3. That's what you want to mastery. And then those in that order also. Skill 2. The next attack restores 6% of this unit's max HP. More healing. Deals 270% of attack as physical damage to all surrounding ground enemies with a 30% chance to stun them for 1.2 seconds. When it says to all, it's all, and it also only costs 4 skill points. It also only happens when she gets hit, but you're putting her in the lane, she's going to get hit. If she has 3 enemies on her, she just turns into a damaging machine. You just put her in the lane, eventually she gets 4 people on her, 3 people even, gets ranged attacks on her too. She just gonna turn into a murdering whirlwind. He gonna kill everything around her real quickly. Skill 3. Upon skill activation, Mudrock stops attacking and does not take damage for 10 seconds. So you have to, it's kind of a delayed thing, so you have to remember that. And reduces the movement speed of surrounding enemies by 60%. Suzerain and Saria. After this state ends, Mudrock stuns the surrounding ground enemies for 5 seconds and gains reduced attack interval. Attacks a lot quicker. Attacks plus 140%, defense plus 80%, and an ability to attack all blocked enemies. Now, the thing it does not say, but you kind of have to take it because it does kind of work. When you activate the skill and she does not take damage, that means she's gaining shield. So she's gaining all of her shields back, so she'll have 3 instances of 20 to 22% of healing when she stands back up every time she takes damage. And then she doesn't take damage that one block instance. So she negates 3 damage 3 times, and then when she does take damage, if she is damaged, she heals. And then she also, during this skill, heals. Because if you have like Scotty Alter on her or Blemishheim on her, she'll heal while she's sitting there too. So this also is a great deal of control. The stun, the slow, but you gotta time the activation. That's the thing with this one. You gotta time the activation. Also, this is not a defensive recovery skill as her second skill. This is auto recovery. That means it just automatically charges. So you start with 15 charge at M3. You have to wait 25 seconds to activate the skill. Total, the skill actually lasts 30 seconds, so you get some charge back. It's just, she's just awesome. This is the best defender in the game if you need a lane control. Also, if you need somebody to take damage. But usually if you need somebody to take damage, you'll also want them to heal. That's where Saria comes in. Duelist, Arknights. Don't have her built really. I have her up to E2 because I need her in the base working, but she yeah, skill 3 is basically what you're here for. Attack plus 110%, defense plus 60%, block plus 2. So she actually blocks 3 with her skill. Without it, she only blocks 1. She restores, she gets 3% HP back every second during the skill. And then the unit is stunned for 5 seconds after the skill duration. But she actually just turns into a big old mecha robot thing that she's inside and gets all these stats and everything is what happens there. And she does damage, greatly increased damage. 70 attack, 60 defense. When HP is above 50%, attacks deal 115% damage. When HP is 50% or lower, gains Sanctity effect, reducing damage that she takes. Increases this unit's SP recovery 0.2 seconds when blocking enemies. So she gains more, if she's blocking, she gains more SP, so she gains her skill faster. Yeah. And then I guess I'll mention her. She's the next person coming, like Genosis is, I mentioned. She does chill and frozen stuff. So if you want that coming up, I'm going to be building her. So we'll talk about her probably when I get her. Let's see here. Then we have a Fortress, which the only one at that is Horn. We only have Ashlock right now as our Fortress. Basically, they're ranged defenders. She doesn't attack anybody. She blocks 2. She doesn't attack anybody close to her. They do ranged attacks and things like that. So that's basically what she is. Fortress. When not blocking enemies, prioritize dealing ranged AoE physical damage. When she's blocking, she does melee. And Horn is not available yet. She'll be here a while later. Last one, Vanguard class. Let's go over that. So we have the Pioneers, which are Flametail. Mainly dodge is what Flametail is known for. Let me bring this over here so you can see it. She's mainly, her thing is dodging. After evading, the next attack hits twice and deals multiple instant block count when deployed. Gain 22% physical evasion, so she gets this on top of her own dodge. And her main thing is her skill 3 is skill 1 actually. 6 DP and evade the next physical attack. Not great DP generator. Vanguards are for your DP generation, but not the great one. Then you have her skill 2. But mainly you're using her for her skill 1. Actually, she stays around a long time when she has her skill 1. That's mainly what you use her for. Turn that off here. Okay, the next one is Saga. So, best one of these to me, the Saga here. Very noisy though. If you don't like noisy operators, he constantly yells and everything. Attack plus 85%. Instantly, her skill 2 is mainly what you use her for. Instantly generate 4 DP. Deals 400% attack as physical damage to at most 6 around enemies within a crosshair. Then lates enemies that are critically wounded. Can store 3 charges. Her deal is When dealing lethal damage, leave enemy with 1 HP and inflict critically wounded. Automatically dies after 10 seconds. If killed, grants SP +2 to the attacker. Saga will not attack critically wounded targets unless you're using her skill 2. Skill 3 is a secondary M3 you can do. It's her more damage is basically what she does here. She attacks slower, but she increases her attack range, greatly increases her attack, and all blocked enemies, and performs an additional attack against target with less than 50% HP. Executioner style. So she blocks 2. And when HP flows below 40%, gain 70% physical dodge and restores 5% HP every 1 second, lasting for 15 seconds. Can only activate once. If I was, I use her every now and then. She's not the best DP generator. When you're using Vanguard, you're mainly using them for DP generation. And she's not the best at it, but she is good if you do have her. Not meta, but great if you do have her. And then the next one is Sieg. He is the base version, I guess you could say, of this class. You play Fate Grand Order. She's Saber. Her voice actress is Saber. She blocks 2 enemies. All Vanguard operators attack a defense +8. Attains 1 skill point when an enemy is in the 4 surrounding tiles is killed. So any enemy that is above, below, left, or right of her, if they're killed, she gains a SP point. Skill 2 is what you want with her, because it deals a lot of damage. All enemies are hit and gains 3 DP per 1, and can she store up to 3 charges. Yeah, basically that's what she does. She's the base version of this class, the Pioneer Vanguard. But she's also good, so if you don't have Saga, you don't have Flametail, Sieg is your go-to for that. But I'd rather use Sieg. Actually, if you're really talking about who I'd rather use out of all of them, if I don't use Saga, it's Texas. A 5-star. So I love Texas. Sorry to say, but I like her. I like her a little bit better even than Saga, and I love Saga. Okay, the next one is the Charger Bagpipes. This is the only 6-star, and she is the greatest at it. Not just because she's the only one, but because what she brings to the table. So what she does is, her thing is, she kills an enemy, she gives you a DP point. None of her skills give you DP straight up. It's only when she kills an enemy that she gets DP. Obtain 1 DP after this unit defeats an enemy, refunds the original DP cost when retreated, so you'll get your 11 DP back or your 13 DP back if you don't have any potentials. Precise reloading when attacking has a 28% plus 25% chance to increase attack to 130% strike to an additional target. And then martial tradition, when this unit is in squad, all Vanguards gain 8 or 6 initial SP. This second talent is what makes her great and makes her kind of meta, because she pairs well with the flag bearers. And when I get to the flag bearers, I'll talk about it more. Skill 2, Skill 3. Skill 2 is a set and forget type of thing. We score up to 3 charges. She attacks greatly increases her attack and strikes an additional time. So she hits twice per charge. I like her skill 2 more, but skill 3 comes in when you need damage more, actually, because she attacks slower, but she attacks more enemy. She attacks more times in a row, blocks an extra 1, and she gets attack and defense of 120. So this is technically better than this, but if you're wanting just somebody to set and forget, skill 2 is your go-to. 85% attack. Okay, let's go on to the next skill. I'm gonna go ahead and, okay, we're already on the standard bearers. Okay, so there's only 1 6-star standard bearer, and I'll go into bagpipe plus standard bearers here. So The thing with standard bearers and bagpipe is she gives them initial SP. Usually that means, especially with the character of Myrtle, with her skill 1, she starts with 13. Bagpipe gives her plus 8, 6. Let's say 6 without the potential. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. She starts with 19 skill points. And you don't have to put bagpipe on the field if you don't want to. And she only needs 22 to activate her skill. And she recovers 14 DP over the duration skill. This is the most DP you can get at once. And if you have her bagpipe's potential to increase her talent, that goes up to 8. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So you'll just need 1 second to activate Myrtle's skill. So you can get out a crap ton of, or a really high cost operator if you want. And that is basically what it's for. And it affects all Vanguard operators. Stops attacking and recovers 18 DP over the skill duration. Now you would say this would be better, right? Selich's skill 1 better than Myrtle's skill 1? Unfortunately, yeah, she costs 12. Myrtle, max potential, costs 8. Or less. So that kind of transfers over. Because this gives 14 DP. So that's there. And then she costs 12. And it gives 18. So, yeah. Myrtle's better. 4 stars better than the 6 stars. Skill 1. Alright. But Selich is still good. Don't get me wrong. Selich is still good. You just got to take into account the cost. Myrtle's going to be better. But if you don't care about the cost and you just want to use Selich because she's GA'ing the fucking Arc in Arknights, you know. Yeah. Okay. So, skill 1. I personally would use skill 1, but skill 2 and skill 3 have their places. Skill 2 is for defense of your allies. Skill 3 is for stunning the enemies and stalling them and slowing them and giving them a fragile effect. So yeah, skill 3 is your mastery priority, really. Skill 1, I would say, if you're wanting just to use her as a DP generator and don't care about her other things. But skill 2 is also good, and that helps out there when she helps heal her allies in the area around her. So she cannot block. All standard bearers cannot block during their skill duration. She deploys a banner within the surrounding 8 tiles of the banner. Allied units have attack speed, and enemies have minus attack speed. And after deployment, the next operator has minus 2 DP cost. So she also saves there. Yeah, Selich, she's great. She's Jean d'Arc in Arknights. She's beautiful. I love her. Unfortunately, she also is not as good as Myrtle. It's a toss-up, I feel, between Elysium and Selich, unless you're using snipers, which then his second skill takes priority over Selich's. Yeah. And then we have the Tactician, which is Black Knight, which is not available yet. Basically summoner Vanguards. And that is it. That is all of them. Yay. Fuck, my throat hurts. Okay. I want to thank everybody for watching. I went actually through every 6-star in the game at this point. I was only going to do like a tier list, but I actually went ahead and went through each 6-star and ranked them according to each other and subclass. Oh my god. Okay. The most meta pick of all out of this whole deal. Sutter, by far, is the most meta pick of all in this game. This right here. This is you can beat the event right now, Mansfield Break. Stage MB8. farming MB8 for these items right here. The boss stage. So the boss is in here. What the hell is his name? Jesselton Miller. You just need those 3 operators. If you want to. Sutter kills the boss. You kill him once, he goes around the stage and comes back, you kill him again. And then Blaze and Saria take care of the rest of the enemies in front of the blue doors. Basically it. And then eventually after you kill the boss the second time, Sutter can come out and kill a lot of the enemies right at the end to help out Blaze and Saria. She's the biggest thing in this game, you know. Yeah. So I'm going to say thank you to everybody for watching. I'll come back if this gets really, really good, like likes and maybe some comments too, if y'all can. I'll come back and I'll do the 5 stars. All right. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.